So Easter Sunday is right around the corner, and we are blessed to have two Jesus movies. And unlike other Jesus movies that we've seen in the past, the two that are currently out in theaters today, which is The Young Messiah and Risen, they take a different approach to the gospel message. In The Young Messiah, we're looking at the life of Jesus when he was a young boy, around 7 years old. And it goes through the different trials and tribulations that Jesus and his family went through to basically keep him alive from the entities that were trying to kill him. And it's a very interesting take. Now, mind you, there's not a whole lot of details written about Jesus' childhood, so it's taking a lot of artistic liberties. But having watched the movie myself just recently, I would say that pretty much the ambiance, the environment, I think was spot on. I think the acting was tremendous. I think a lot of Christian families, a lot of people of faith would enjoy watching The Young Messiah. And then you have, on the other hand, Risen. This is a story, again, it takes a lot of artistic liberties. It's a story about a Roman tribune. A tribune is a high-ranking Roman officer in his search for Jesus and to ascertain the truth of his resurrection. It takes you on an incredible journey, and it's a very engrossing story. Even though, again, there's not a lot of provenance in the Bible, it leaves you the idea that this possibly could have happened. Now, if you had to choose between watching The Young Messiah or watching Risen, I would say, and this is just my personal opinion, I would say that you should watch Risen. I felt that Risen resonated a lot more. I thought it was a much more powerful film. There was this constant theme, and it kept pushing and pushing this Roman tribune. And I felt that you really got to see the development of the character of this Roman tribune, being this person that had absolutely no faith and was coming aggressively at Jesus. And you get to see this character go through different eye-opening life experiences, and it was a very remarkable film. The other thing I really liked about Risen is the portrayal of Jesus Christ. I thought that Cliff Curtis, who plays Jesus in Risen, was phenomenal. I can't express how wonderful of a characterization that Cliff Curtis put into this role. And it may sound strange because Cliff Curtis, if many of you don't know, he's had some pretty rough roles. His most recent example of a rough role is he plays the lead character in Fear the Walking Dead, which, he's out there killing zombies and stuff. It's a very rough role. So for him to transition from that into Jesus, into the portrayal of Jesus, I thought was remarkable. But here, this is the great thing about his portrayal, is that for the first time, I've seen a lot of Jesus movies, and the big mistake I think they make in Jesus movies is they always portray a very, very good-looking man as Jesus. And he's just, when you put someone who's just so good-looking, he becomes, the portrayal becomes, out of reach in a way for most of us, because most of us don't look like the Jesus that is portrayed in Hollywood. But I tell you that Cliff Curtis, and first of all, he's not an Anglo-Saxon, so that right there, the portrayal is much more accurate, much more realistic. He looks like a Middle Eastern Jewish man, a Jewish carpenter. That's pretty much, I believe, how Jesus would look like. you really felt like, you know what, this really could be Jesus. I mean, if we went back in time and we met Jesus in person, this is probably what Jesus looked like and acted like. And he probably just had this very, very comfortable aura around him where you will look at him and he will say, you know what, there's something special about you, and I'm just going to sit here and listen to you and just be with you. Yeah, I know, I felt something. It felt so real. It felt so authentic, and for that reason, because it was such a powerful film, for that reason, I would say if you had to choose between which Jesus movie you want to watch, you really want to watch Risen.